everybody. If you haven't figured it out yet, we're going to be talking about sex trafficking today. My name is Stacy Montgomery. I am the president of Shephard's Watch Foundation. Thank you. We are a nonprofit that fights sex trafficking with a focus on child sex trafficking. I'm here today with our community outreach director, Ben Henley. We are truly honored and thrilled to be with you, and so we really thank you very much for having us today. So my team and I, we talk to thousands and thousands of people all the time about sex trafficking, and we hear more often than not, we don't have a sex trafficking problem in our city. We're here today to tell you you have a sex trafficking problem in your city. So I know we have a full agenda and you guys want to hear from Senator Hall, so I'm going to go really fast. We have a lot of slides, so I'm going to talk fast. We will have Q&A if we have time afterwards. I do want to do a disclaimer just really quick. We do have a little bit of sensitive content and some sensitive photos. I just wanted to warn you that in advance. If you have to walk out, we understand it's not really bad. We don't have any naked pictures, I promise. Close, but not naked. Okay, go ahead. So we're going to go over the agenda just really quick. We're going to do a brief introduction on Shephard's Watch and how we got started and who we are. What is sex trafficking? I think most of you in this room know what sex trafficking is, so we'll just breeze over that really quickly. We're going to talk a little bit about stats. We really don't like stats as an organization because stats are it's very underreported. Sex trafficking cases and sex trafficking situations are just completely underreported, so they're not really accurate, but it's human nature to want to know some numbers, so we're going to go through that as well. We're going to talk about indicators and how you can recognize if you're in the presence of a victim. And then we're going to talk about predators and do a brief dive into investigations. We ask that you be gentle to Ben and me during that process because our fearless leader, who is a PI, she usually does this section, so we'll muddle through the best we can, but that's the exciting part. And then we're going to do a summary on our mission and how you can help us make an impact, and then Q&A at the same time. Okay, so about us, it's a little off-center, sorry guys. How we got started as our fearless leader, I'm going to try not to use her name because she is our lead investigator. She does very serious, dangerous work. And like I said, she was going to be here with us today, but she got called down to south of Austin for a case there with 35 trafficked girls. So she's working that right now. But how we got started is she was coming across a lot of sex trafficking cases in her normal PI work. She's owned her own PI firm for about 12 years, and she's been a PI for about 20. And she was noticing when she was coming across these cases that the law enforcement didn't really know how to handle them. There was nowhere to take them. So she decided to start a nonprofit. We started around summer of 2020, so we're relatively new. How I got started was I met her when I was getting my license to carry my weapon. She decided she wanted me on the team, so that's how we got started. But basically what we do is our focus is investigative intelligence. We are a group of private licensed investigators. So we are boots on the ground. Yes, we go around and do education and awareness like what we're doing today, but our primary focus is boots on the ground, helping law enforcement, getting them that investigative intelligence to help them go kick down those doors, save the victims, and get the perpetrators in jail. So that's pretty much what our focus is. Again, we do awareness and education, advocacy and network services. Another thing that we did right after we got started is we founded NETAP, which is the Northeast Texas Alliance Against Trafficking. We wanted to bring like-minded organizations, law enforcement, like-minded individuals together so that we could all fight this atrocity together. We also work with restoration organizations, which is like victim services and shelters. And we started doing some street advocacy on tribal reservations. And the other thing is too boring, administrative and financial, but that's basically what we do. Okay, what is sex trafficking? It's basically the trade of sexual slaves. We won't go into all of this, but you can go online and look at the Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2000 and see what their official explanation of that is. Okay, here's some stats. I think you missed one. Yeah. So, sex trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry in the world. It's been reported in all 50 states. The average age of entry is 15 years old. For females, and believe it to be under for males. 55% of survivors reported they attended school during their exploitation. 44% reported that no one reached out to see if they needed help. And like I mentioned before, it's widely underreported. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually victimized in their lifetime. There's over 917,000 registered sex offenders out right now, and 53,000 of them are non-compliant. Non-compliant could mean that they haven't told their parole officer that they've moved to a new neighborhood, etc. It's a $150 billion a year industry. 90 billion of that is sex trafficking. The other is labor. There's 150,000 new escort ads posted every day online. Many are trafficked children. And victims are reporting that they're being abused by 10 or more online buyers a day. Sorry about that. That's okay. Okay, so over 52% of the world's sex trafficking victims happen to be in the Northern American region. This is our age breakdown that we're going to go over right now. 51% of sex traffic victims are 20 years old or younger. 84% are females, 15% are males, and 1% are transgender. You can see the age breakdown.
Let me see if I can go back.
Whoa.
What happened?
Scroll fast.
I'm going to try to refocus that when it's his turn to talk. But you can see that age 9 to 17 is the biggest, it's 33%. And you see the age breakdown there. I'm talking fast because I don't have a full program, sorry guys. So 2021 cases, we don't have the official from the Federal Human Trafficking Report yet for 2022, but for 2021, in the cases that were filed in Texas, 30% were adults and 70% were minors. Okay, so that's under 17 years old. I do want to make note that...
Please don't slow down. What you had to say is
Okay.
so much more important than what I'm going to talk about. This is
Right.
really, really important.
I'm from Texas, but I can still talk fast.
They need to
Okay,
hear
thank you.
this. So
Okay.
You take as much time as you want.
Thank you, I appreciate that, thank you. I want to point out though that Texas was the first state to make sex buying a felony. But over 750 plus years in prison sentences for human traffickers since 2016 in Texas. Over 750 years. And then I wanted to show you how to report suspected trafficking. You can contact iWatch Texas. And there's another slide that will have more information on that. Okay, I like to spend quite a bit of time on this slide. IPC is the Interdiction for the Protection of Children. DPS, the Department of Public Safety, we've gotten a ton of support. Our organization's gotten a ton of support from DPS. They're just fantastic. And they have a class that's a full 2 days, 8 to 5 for 2 days. It's called IPC, the Interdiction for the Protection of Children. And it basically teaches law enforcement, first responders, EMS, firefighters, all those public officials that might be out in the public a lot and might come across trafficking situations that they may not realize is a trafficking situation. So it's training on how to identify a potential victim, but also a perpetrator. They will do it for free. You can have it in your city if you have 50 or more. So we actually had a class and we were responsible for getting that going. The captain of the Greenville Police Department at the time, he helped set it up and he asked the other counties around for all of them to come. And so we had like 75, 80 people there and my entire team went because we wanted to learn too for those full 2 days. And like I said, they will come in and they had just got the DPS officers that do the training. They had just done St. Croix right before Greenville and the Virgin Islands, right? So it's like, okay, you have to come to Greenville, Texas after that, but you'll have fun here, I promise. So they'll go anywhere as long as you have 50 more people on that, and it doesn't cost you anything. They also have online where they already have classes scheduled and you can register if you're law enforcement, EMS, first responder, or a nonprofit like us that fights the same fight with sex trafficking. If you guys have any questions on that, please give me a call. But if you have friends or family that is in any of those categories, please encourage them to go. This is excellent, excellent training. And we've come to realize that the majority of our law enforcement is not trained in sex trafficking. I've already covered most of this, but they also have fusion centers, which a lot of people don't realize that. There's 80 fusion centers in the US, there's 8 in Texas alone. What a fusion center, it's a building, and all the different law enforcement agencies are located in that one building, and they share information. And SARS is a suspicious activity report, and that's where law enforcement or even the general public is sending in these reports saying, I think this looks fishy, can you check it out? So even as a, just a regular citizen, you can fill out a report online or call it in, and they will investigate it. So if you think that something looks weird, don't feel bad. Go ahead and let them look into it, because you just never know. But I think that's great that we have 8 in Texas. But again, you probably heard SARS on the news lately. I won't say about what. That's a suspicious activity report. And I had mentioned that we actually attended the February class in Greenville, Texas. There was just a class completed in Garland, Texas. Upcoming in Durant, we're actually going to go to the Durant, Oklahoma class, even though we've already been, because we are opening an affiliate in Oklahoma. We have one of our board of directors is in Oklahoma, and we're going to start working the casinos and the tribal areas out there. And we want to really get to know the law enforcement and start making those connections and building those relationships. But, and that's in October, there's a few classes in Beaumont and Laredo. There's one coming up in New Mexico, and then the only thing next coming is in 2024, they're all in Texas. But they'll keep adding more and more classes. So I've left my business card on all the tables. Please contact me. I can help you get involved in those classes if you are in one of those categories of law enforcement. Like if you're a DA or whatever, you can go to these classes. So basically, I went over all of that to kind of tell you what the training, what it's about is how to recognize if you're in the presence of a potential victim. And so now we're going to cover, go ahead, indicators. Okay, so there's different types of indicators. And so the first one we're going to cover is indicators for the community. We're not going to go over all of these, but how you can kind of tell, if you're being aware of your surroundings, if somebody that's fearful of making eye contact, maybe a young girl or a young boy, they have restricted or scripted communication. They have injuries or signs of physical abuse or substance abuse. Lots of them, they get branded. They have tattoos. These pimps love to brand their property. So they'll have a tattoo. It's kind of hard to see down there. I'm sorry for the bad, the fuzzy stuff here. They have few possessions, no suitcase. I want to talk about this when they have unusual language. We'll talk about a date. Oh, thank you.
That made it easy.
I was telling myself earlier, remember to turn on the lights.
You can see the girl in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, see.
You can see she's been branded.
It's like a barcode.
Her.
It's like a barcode. Yeah. All right, so, but they also can use unusual language, like they'll call date or daddy. They call their dates daddy, or they have a quota. But stable is one that really was the one that got me. It's like that's what the pimp calls his group of girls or boys that he's in charge of. He calls them their stable, his stable. So go ahead. And some of these are going to be, they kind of go together, but there's indicators for parents and caregivers and educators as well. Like if they're constantly hiding their device screen from others, they're receiving pornography, that's kind of like they become agitated or upset when they have no access to Wi-Fi. Now I know that's most kids nowadays, but we're talking about like really extreme. They have unexplained cash, expensive jewelry, really expensive purses all of a sudden. Changes in behavior or appearance, especially tattoos. They make references to modeling or music video jobs or about older friends. And of course, the promiscuous behavior in person or on social media. And then there's also indicators for the hospitality industry. I was actually in the travel business for over 33 years. So I actually went through some of this training in the travel business. But you'll notice maybe a hotel room that multiple men are frequenting. There's an adult male checking in with a minor or groups of girls that do not appear to be their child. The young girl could be dropped off while the driver waits in the parking lot, or they're carrying their possessions in a plastic bag instead of a suitcase. They might not even know the current date or where they are. And then all these are the same indicators that we stated earlier on previous screens, so they kind of overlap. But these are just kind of indicators you can be thinking about and do a SARS report, who knows? Or call, if you see something really, really bad, call 911, of course. Go ahead. Okay, so reporting suspicious activity. We talked about the Texas Fusion Center. So here's the information for that. You can even email them. And there's a link, and it says it like here, and you just click on it when you go online, and you can actually just fill out a report if you don't want to talk to anybody. And that actually goes back to the iWatch Texas site that I talked about. And I said, for emergencies, of course, dial 911. Okay. So in a second, I'm going to turn it over to Ben. This is our investigative part that our fearless leader normally does. It's about predators and online ads, but it's kind of hard to see this, and it's kind of distressing, but you can kind of see these tattoos. These perpetrators, they're very proud of their tattoos. They will gladly show it to the law enforcement officers. It's crazy. This one we won't even talk about. You can kind of see, this is a tattoo on a little girl.
Yes.
So that's on her torso.
We're not showing you the hard stuff.
It's hard to see this one, but this is on a guy's arm, and it's a vulture, and the vulture claw, it's got a cage with a crying baby inside of it. And there's another crying baby in another bad situation on the other side. So, I mean, be on the lookout for that kind of stuff, because other kind of telltale signs that there's traffickers. So Ben, I'm gonna turn it over to Ben, and we're gonna try to do some of this together, especially since it's kind of hard to see this.
It's a complicated issue. Now, first of all, we all know it happens around us, right? You have a clue just how bad it is? Okay, you need to understand these guys are starting to get really high tech. Oh, I'm gonna mess this up for people watching at home. They're getting really high tech. They advertise on social media. They advertise on the internet, and they've learned how to target advertising. If you've got 3 little girls that you're going to pimp out, you're not going to put an ad out there and pay for an ad that's in New York and Pennsylvania and Georgia and Washington State. If you're here in Forney, you're just going to do it Forney and within 10 or 15 miles of Forney. So you get more bang for your buck. And you're going to tell it to look for certain people who look for certain things. So, fearless leader has ruined me. I ran into him when I hired him for a personal issue that I needed, and we were sitting in my office one day, and they were talking about the sex trafficking problem. I said, no offense, but it is not going on here. I've never seen it. So then that person whips out and said, can I see your phone? Let me have your phone. And in about 45 seconds, would you like a blonde or a brunette? I'm going to have it delivered to your office. A half a mile from my office in Canton is where they had their Google address for their advertising. So I started saying, how do you find this stuff? Don't ever ask somebody that knows. Because you learn some stuff. I'm going to show you some stuff. We just had dinner, and if I tell you what some of this stuff is, you're probably going to go into vomiting because you will not believe what these perverts get into. Okay? It's absolutely sick. But you can find this stuff if you know what you're looking for. Now, I don't think in terms of getting an 8 or 10-year-old girl and paying money to have sex with her. It just doesn't cross my mind. I've got a 4-year-old granddaughter. No, I want to take my AR and shoot somebody with a high-capacity magazine. I don't have a drum mag, but I want to get one, just in case. You know? There are multiple thousands of them around here, and they learn how to pick the phone up and do this. And since then, I hate to say it, I got good at finding that kind of garbage. So here in Forney, I'm just curious, how many brothels do we have that advertise on a national website so that anybody driving through could come down and say, I'm in Forney, Texas, where are the girls that are available to me? How many do you have here in town? 2 that we know of. If you go to the site, you can read the reviews of the girls. If you use the girls, you can write a review about them. That's okay. Canton's got 1. Now, I got bad intel that we were going to be. I thought we were going to be in Kaufman City, so I grabbed some stuff for Kaufman. I'm going to show you some pictures here in a minute. You don't want to see it, okay? They post their price list of what they charge, okay? It took me 35 seconds to do it and get start screenshot. So far as escort sites go, Kaufman has 26. Terrell has 36. Forney has 45. These are websites out there. But these are not on the big national databases that are out there. And Greenville has 81. You never knew it was right in front of you, did you? So a few weeks back, I'm driving through Canton and I see something. I'm like, the DLR meter. The booger's pegged out. Don't look right. DLR. That don't look right. And I drive by again. I'm like, nah, that's that word I learned. And so I get on the group text with the Shephard Watch Budge and I said, I think I just found something I don't want to find. And I stated that word, which is a flag for the cartel. I'll show you a cartel flag. Well, it'll be in a picture. Cartel will put things out there. It's their flag. This is us. This is our territory. And I mean, it's like emblazoned out there. I'm like, it can't be. And they said, no, I think you're seeing something. So I roll up and I snap a picture. I send it to everybody. And the phone blows up. Don't go down that road again. That's the Santa Rosas. Santa Rosas this year are killing about 500 people a month in a battle for a city down in Mexico because they needed to get the fentanyl and meth from the West Coast to Laredo to get it back up to here. Oh, we now have a trail from here to Laredo from that house. It's all over. Cartels in it. They're making tons of money. This is terrible. Yeah, it's a complicated issue. There's all kinds. It's hard to get stats because people don't report. I don't know for sure that's what it was, so I'm not telling the cops, and the cops don't know to go look at. I don't know what your police situation is here, but I can tell you in Van Zandt County with 1 or 2 deputies, and they're busy taking the cows off the road, or there's a fire, or there's a car wreck, or Bubba and Frank got in a fist fight because somebody's cousin said something, and they ain't got time to hunt these guys down. They literally are inside the Canton City limits. Multiple thousands of cars a day drive right by them. They're hiding in plain sight. Next one. I'm supposed to stay on task. I know I should. Okay. Apps to monitor: Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Fortnite, Twitter, Omegle. I've never heard of that one. The garage sales app. Look, Facebook is the only one I do. That is the only one I do. I can probably take anybody's phone and in 15 minutes find an ad for sex trafficking. Okay? Now, some of you, Miss K, it's going to be tough to get it on yours. I'm going to have to go search for stuff to tell the algorithm that you're interested in it because it's probably not going to show up. But and honestly, occasionally I'll put stuff in there just to see what happens. And I have seen the ads on the bottom on my Facebook screen instantly change.
Wow.
Because, oh, this guy probably wants this, so now I'm going to put the ads. Facebook's cool for advertising. You can really target somebody that you want to.
Does anybody know what Omegle is?
I do.
It was created for adults to talk to kids.
Omegle? News to me. Well, that sounds right. Perverts to be all over that one.
It's a site where 2 people can have like video cameras and they speak to each other from either end and they can see each other through the camera. But most of it's just grown adults doing some very inappropriate things towards the camera.
That's even worse. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I don't have room on my phone for another app. I don't want to do that one. But I will show you some things that are scary. And you'll notice some pictures here. We black the eyes out so you can't really tell who this is. And sometimes you put hearts over things because stuff's hanging out. They've learned when they advertise these girls, you put like a smiley face over her face because if it ever comes back they were advertising her, you can tell she's underage. That's an extra felony charge. So a lot of times when you see them either in a one-piece bathing suit or their face is covered up, it's because they're somewhere around the age of 15, 14, 13, or even younger. I got one picture here tonight to show you. It's going to make you cry. Okay, next one. The Dallas Tyler is hubs. That's the main part. But they go everywhere. Yes, Canton First Monday weekend. They're going to book hotels. Now they're getting smart. They're doing Airbnbs. We just got a party this weekend. Fine, you're paying the money. And here they come. They book these things up, book them from all over, and here they go. Anywhere you have a truck stop, you're going to have them. They're going to bus them in. In fact, I'll show you another ad. They're getting real smart about how the pimp can do it and not get caught. RV parks, Airbnbs, the construction business, those are big targets. These guys have been working long hours, and they bust the girls to them. They rotate the girls because you know, if they keep going back to the same place and it's the same girl, it's not new anymore. We have actually uncovered a transportation situation of Atlanta, Georgia to, it's Odessa, isn't it? And they're there for a few weeks and transporting back. That's a long ways to carry. Of course, if this girl's earning you over $1,000 a night and you've got 20 girls, you can probably afford the transportation. Next one. Apartments are used as both brothels and stables. A brothel, they're there all the time, knock on the door, go in, you use the girls' stable. That's where they're going to hide the girls. We've uncovered, and I will say this, Shephard's Watch is not going to stand up and say, we did that. When a bust is made, we're going to say, hey, I'm glad they made that bust. And the reason is the cartels are behind most of these, and they really get irritated when you take their money from them. I personally do not want my thoracic cavity perforated by 9mm pieces of copper. You know what I'm saying? Neither does anybody else on the team.
And there are ongoing investigations and witnesses and things like that, so
Yeah.
you know how long these things take.
But they uncovered one where the dude has paid more than $1 million cash for homes. These are the high-end girls. Would you like a Mercedes? Would you like a Mercedes convertible? I'll buy it for you, but you're going to earn it. And they do. $1,500 a day, all the time. Yeah, that's not uncommon. The other one that's probably the easiest to spot, the illicit massage business. It's a massage parlor that ends with a happy ending.
Did you wonder why there's so many foot spas? Did that many people get their feet massaged? It's like crazy. Yeah.
And the cartels generally own those. Okay, and the smart ones will only do one particular low-level thing, so you can say it was an accident, got a little carried away, and it's not that big a felony. If you want the really heavy-duty stuff, that's done off-site, but they arrange that. Oh, and they've also learned that under state law, at least here in the state of Texas, that if a cop is doing undercover work and he starts taking his clothes off, like he pops his shirt off, and then he asks, "What would you do for?" It won't hold up in court. He took clothes off. So the girls go in there and it's small talk. And she's not going to say she's going to do anything until he's in his skivvies, because then it won't stick in court. That one needs to get rewrote, because there's lots of undercover dudes would get down to their underwear to make the bust. They do industrial parks or things that look like warehouses. There's all kinds of online stuff. The porn industry's picked up rape films. They're making money when they actually catch somebody and rape them. One of the common ones that they really like are the Latino girls, the young Latino girls. I'm just so thankful that there's no chance of finding very many Latino girls in Texas now. Especially girls that can't be located because you don't really know who they are. No, wait, we do have a problem with that, don't we? Yeah. Okay, next one. Garage sale sites. Now this is one of the first ones that really set the world on fire. This is a First Monday garage sale site. This girl's believed to be from Honduras or El Salvador? Which one? Honduras. Okay. This picture was taken back in 2018, 2019. The technology that we have, and we'll get to that here in a minute, they were able to take her picture and chase her down and locate her. She's currently in Mexico City. Now, we do have some stuff working for us. It's super high tech, and I'm not going to tell you how all of it works, because as long as they don't find out what we're doing, they can't hide from it. But yeah, this was the girl who was pimping out this girl, and she was fresh, and she got brought up to Canton First Monday weekend, and only God knows what happened to her for a while. When this was turned into law enforcement, within 20 hours this ad was taken down. Now, we'll say this, if you see these ads or anything like it, don't scream and raise Cain about having it taken down. Craigslist used to be the easiest way to catch these sons of guns. They were out there, and so there was a lot of noise made. They took it off Craigslist, they went underground, it was hard to find them. If they go back underground, it makes our work so much harder trying to find them and catch them. Now that we're on the trail of what they do, shh. Let us know if you saw something really unusual. But we don't want them to stop, because now we know their pattern. Okay, next one. This one has a cartel stamp in it. That's a Facebook post. If you're cartel, you'll see in the picture what it is, and it shows that that's Sinaloan. That girl belongs to the Sinaloans. By the way, they're extremely violent. I personally have witnessed a Sakara team in Van Zandt County. Actually bumped into them in Walmart. They're the guys who are there to kill somebody. That's what they do. It's a 5-6 man hit team, and that's what they're there for. I'm glad we didn't bump into each other and hurt each other. Interesting to notice that on Facebook, I'm available for sex for pay. On Facebook. I tried to boost a post about sex trafficking from Shephard's Watch, And I got hammered by Facebook because apparently it's a controversial issue that creates discord among people on Facebook. And so they want to see a copy of my driver's license, and I have to put a disclaimer on it that I'm the one paying for the ad, so that if anybody gets upset, they can come talk to me about it. I didn't know there was anything controversial about child sex trafficking. I didn't know there was another side to the issue that said it was okay. Somehow they got away with that. Look at these. Do these honestly look like 32-year-old women who, being promiscuous in high school and in college, are now short on money to pay the electric bill, and they've got a car payment coming up, so they're going to go to a bar, have a good time with a guy for a $100 bill? See, that's how we try to explain away prostitution. No, these are Hispanic girls who are here, and they're going to have to pay for coming to the U.S., and they're going to have to work their way out of it. Next one. Here's some more.
This was just today. What was
Yeah.
up today?
Yeah, this one. Y'all know where Terrell is? Have you heard of the Hilton? Okay, they're advertising her there today. Young woman of 18 years old for the first time, Forney Ingalls Escorts.
She's a virgin, she's saying.
Bonjour, I'm a young woman of 18 years old, still virgin, who is looking for a man of mature preference. Of course, I don't do this for free, but you have to see it with me for the price, contract only. Oh, here's one for Kaufman. Doesn't happen here. Next one.
That's a 41 up there.
So, in less than 1 minute, I was looking for the city of Kaufman, and here's this gal. Her name is Fatima. She's 29. Can you guys read what this says? I'm sorry, I'm in front of women. I cannot say some of these words.
I don't think he's going to
Oh my
say those out
gosh.
loud.
Yeah, and some of these I didn't know. I did not know that eating feces while having sex with somebody was a thing, but apparently it is for some, and somehow they're advertising it. Yes. Oh, no. I told you they will not let me put the bad stuff on here. Okay? Next one.
I didn't want to put these up here, but he made me.
And you can see some of the pictures from here.
Do they have the height and weight mixed up or something, or what?
Do what?
The height and weight mixed up?
Some of this appears to be in backwards, and they may have it in metric.
Yeah, I was noticing that too. I was like, what the?
Yeah, but some of this is like $50 to let somebody pee on you? Are you kidding me? Who gets excited about it? Next one. Oh my goodness. Keep going. The 4 girls that I found in less than 35 seconds. Now, and another one go. The pictures I thought would really shock. Okay, next one over, then we'll go back to this. Okay, so this is off of my Facebook, and I see this, and she says, our masseurs will surprise you with something special. This was for headaches and migraines. And so when I clicked on it, go back the other way. This is what I got. You ever bump into this? Most of the guys are like, I ain't gonna say a word. My wife is here. I will get clobbered. I didn't have the courage to go past it. Now, one of our investigators is like, oh yeah, and screenshotting all the time to get this stuff. Okay, one more. This was a close-up. I saw a Facebook reel. The guy has got a log, and he's running a bandsaw mill, and he's cutting wood. And I look at this, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is how they do it. I've shown the full picture. We don't have it up here. But I've shown the full picture to people and said, do you see the ad for a prostitute? And nobody ever sees it. But down at the very bottom, I blew it up. She can walk to your home, hotel, or condo and be amazed by her. Here's the new twist. She'll walk to your condo or your motel or your apartment. They drive up in the van or the SUV, send the girl over there. When the meetup occurs and the money's exchanged, the pimp is nowhere around. He doesn't get busted. Cold-blooded. Let her take the fall. Next one. This is the one that should make you sick. They won't let me show the whole picture. This is a little girl in Tyler, as best I can tell. This says sexy stallions. Look at this little face. I'll show you another picture on my cell phone. This girl is 8 or 9 years old. She's 8 or 9 years old. Pushing it 10. The other picture that I have of her, she's up against the wall. There's an iron board there. There's a little stuffed animal down there next to her, and she's just standing there. And they're prostituting her out. Okay, I'm going to ask you for something. I didn't ask permission. So throw rocks, shoot me if you want to, that's okay. Shephard's watch runs on a real tight budget. We're practically out of money, okay? The technology costs us $5,000 a month, but I tell you this, it's more than worth it. They put it into play in about 2 days' time. The reason somebody's not here today is because they're with DPS right now, and they are serving it up to them. The floor plan of the house, the whole 9 yards. There's 34 girls in that stable. They've all been branded on the right butt cheek and the right thigh. They carry the tattoo, so they can be walking around in a bikini or whatever, and they can walk scot-free in certain neighborhoods because they belong to that cartel man. And they're being pimped out every night. It's a high-tech facility. Not just anybody's going to get in that place. It was nothing short of amazing. They had to twist some arms to get some stuff, to get proof to be able to get in there. And they're setting up the sting. I hope and pray by the end of the week we hear that house got burned to the ground. But we need money. I need somebody here with a big heart and a deep pocket to write us a check for $5,000 so we know we got another month of it. I need some folks to just write $1,000 checks, and if all you can do is a $100 check, we'll take it, because we're going to use this money to chase these sorry sons of guns down.
Has nothing to do with open borders, right?
Oh, no.
I don't see how the open borders has done anything to accelerate the sex trafficking trade, because now there's only 4 national websites that specialize in nothing but Latino girls.
Only 4.
4.
Only.
These are nationwide, so anybody anywhere can whip it up. Look, those 4 girls that I showed you and their price lists up here, at the bottom of that page was a list. You click the button of what state you're in, and then here's a list of cities, and you click the cities, and then there's the list of the brothels or the escort services that operate in that city. There are 4 of those that specialize in Latino girls, and they go nationwide.
This is why stats are so difficult, because nobody knows these girls are missing, or these kids.
Exactly. I mean, here's this sweet little girl, and who are you? I don't know. Fingerprints ain't gonna do no good. Picture ain't gonna do no good. If she says she's from Mexico, there's no record of her. Nobody knows who her parents are. Nobody knows. And if they find her dead on the side of the road, nobody knows. And nobody's screaming and hollering for her. Land of Goshen, can you imagine being that little 15-year-old girl or that 14-year-old girl who came to America because she's tired of living in a little grass hut down in the hinterlands of Mexico or Honduras, and now she's up here and some guy says, this is what you're going to do? Can you imagine? I'd love it if everybody pulled out their check and wrote a checkbook and wrote, no, I'm serious, write us a check. If you need Venmo or anything like that, North Texas Giving Day, that kind of thing, seriously, please support us. Your money is not going to get wasted. There's nobody getting paid for this. We pay our way to these events. We buy our own dinner at these events. One of our investigators pays for some of the other stuff that we use in hunting these people down. All we want to do is burn these guys at the stake. I wish I could tell you some of the wins that we've had, but
They're
somebody
ongoing
know who to come
investigations.
after, you know. But we've got 4 major cases right now that will probably make national news if they can get a rope on them. One of my big issues that I have, well, we all have. You turn it over to DPS, and the DPS investigator next week gets sent down to the border, and that's the end of the investigation. A few weeks later, somebody else is assigned, and here, what is this? They start looking at it, and then they get reassigned. Something needs to be done to keep these guys on task and get it. Places like Van Zandt County that only have 1 or 2 sheriff's deputies who have 1,300 miles of road to patrol, they have no chance of getting after these cartel guys. They have no chance of running this stuff down. They can't sit outside the hotel and take pictures and try to see what's going on. They just can't. We'll do it. We'll take the pictures. And we'll say, here's Felipe, here's when he shows up, and here's when he leaves, and here's where he's taking the money. The money's serious. In my day job, I'm a financial advisor. I have had a guy come to me in Van Zandt County wanting me to help him launder $100,000 a month. There's big money in this stuff. There's serious big money in this stuff. And I have never, in all the training and anti-money laundering, I have never in my life seen something put together so well with a series of corporations, the way to transfer it, and it finally goes in this one and it heads to Turks and Caicos because our banking system will not interface with theirs. And once it goes to Turks and Caicos, it's gone. 100 grand a month. That's what he was trying to tempt me with. It was probably a whole lot more than that.
The technology that Ben talked about that we have access to now that's pretty brand new, it expedites our being able to track by 75% faster.
Or more,
So,
or more. In one day, it can do what would normally take Fritzy
Yeah.
5, 6, 8, sometimes 10 days to chase down.
Yeah.
If you get a hot lead, it can take that hot lead and catch somebody as opposed to several weeks before you finally get to it. Yeah. What can you do for us other than support us financially? Number one, pray. Pray for the safety of the team. One of these days, they're going to connect the dots and we're going to get shot at.
Please don't say that.
Probably going to happen. Probably going to happen, okay? The rest of the team, definitely pray for them. Number two, raise Cain with elected officials who don't think it's a problem.
They pretend like they care.
Yeah.
Then raise Cain with them,
Our
okay?
constable doesn't believe there's any problem.
Seriously?
So what does the Kaufman County Sheriff say about all this?
I hadn't talked to him. I hadn't talked to him. But I'll tell you this, if you've got a constable and he just says it's not a problem, contact me privately and let me have his address, and then I'll tell you how far from his house is the closest problem. And you can take it and put it in his face. But raise Cain, because there's a lot of elected officials who just don't see it as a problem. And it is a problem. It's a monster problem. And anytime you have this, you have drugs, you have drugs, you have this going on. There's a few things that we could use. Fritzy had said in the future we're probably going to need emergency medical kits just in case somebody's out on a run and they get shot.
Yeah, we have an Amazon wish list that we're adding to.
That's kind of a scary thing, yeah. We need 2 more dash cams,
Send you a donation receipt.
some video surveillance equipment.
Thank you
We'd
very
like
much.
1 or 2 drones. We do have a drone pilot, but a couple of drones. One with night vision would be great. There's some other things like that. Right now, our number one thing is this technology because they get this much. On one of the big cases, it was a matter of somebody doing their day job as an investigator, and it just looked odd that this man every other Friday was losing $1,500 bet. I mean, sometimes you're unlucky, but are you going to go months at a time losing $1,500 every other Friday? And they say, spouse, can I look into your bank records? Okay, fast forward, there's 32 girls, there's 5 houses, 3 pimps. One guy's actually pimping out his sister. They're operating in 3 states and may have a line on a 4th state. All because of one little entry. It's amazing stuff. Don't want to lose it. We'll be up here when all this is over with. If you want to stop by and drop us off a check, we'll take cash. I don't have a receipt book with me. Stacy will. She'll send you a receipt later on, but let's keep this thing going. Yes,
Is
sir.
there a way to get to that wish list besides that link in
Yeah.
like the Amazon app? What do I?
I think it's the only way we could do it was under my name, so I can, if you'll just email me. Do you have my card over there? Yeah, and I can send it to you.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was hard to figure out how to tell y'all how.
Yeah, I see.
We absolutely appreciate your support. Appreciate you
Thank you so
being
much.
here. Appreciate you being sympathetic for the cause. Again, pray for us.
Thank you guys. Thank you so
We
much.
got to get this done.